Thank you for joining me for this author interview. Today I'm with Pini Reznik, CEO of cinq and newly published best-selling author. And I'm going to let Pini tell you all about his book in just a moment. Today we are here to discuss Pini's motivations for putting what he knows into a book, the transition from technical content into thought leader content, and some of the good things that have been happening in the very short time the book's been live. At the time of recording, the book's been live for just over 2 weeks. So this is a brand new author interview. And we're going to just share a little bit more about the message of the book itself and who it's really for. So Pini, thank you very much for being here with me today.
Thank you for the invite and happy to be here.
Lovely. In that case, do you mind, first of all, introducing your brand new book and telling us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, so the book is called From Cloud Native to AI Native, Catching the Next Wave of Innovation. And the whole idea of the book is to show how the innovation, the big changes in technology are coming in waves, and actually shifting from one wave to the next is fairly consistent and predictable process. And the book appeals to senior engineers, engineering managers, and up to the CTO. So it's not entirely technical book, but sort of semi-technical.
Semi-technical. Now, this was a quite a big point for you, wasn't it, when putting the book together, which is that obviously in your world of tech, I mean, this is very sort of side note, this is very relevant to all of us right now. This video will be going out on lots of platforms, but LinkedIn is a primary platform for us both. And I don't think there is a single CEO in the land who isn't questioning their use of technology at the moment. We live in the tech era. So, for you coming from a tech background and having a technical organization, usually a lot of your books might be 500 pages, 600 pages long and very technical. And this is different, isn't it?
And actually, I did write another book before, which is called Cloud Native Transformation, about 6 years ago, which was more technical and on the previous wave of innovation. And yes, I think that my previous work was much more technical, so much more talking to CTOs and engineering managers, purely about the internals of IT, like building large cloud systems and things like that. So the business is typically, they just don't care. The CEO is not supposed to care about hardcore engineering. But AI is making this very different. So it actually resonates with senior leaders who are non-technical, and they're a bit afraid of what's going to happen, how it's going to affect them. So that's why this book is also important for just general leadership to understand how this will affect their work.
Yeah, fantastic. And within that lies a bit of a challenge for you as an author, doesn't it? Because you've got you've got to speak to the technically minded and the CTOs
Yeah.
of an organization. You've got to speak to the CEOs. As a CEO of a tech startup, I get that I there's no point speaking to me about a lot of the technical things because it will go over my head.
Yeah.
And so even though I understand a reasonable amount about the product development, so how do you cater for what sounds like one audience when actually there are different layers of understanding of the topic?
I think this was actually a big question in the beginning of the book, and this is something I had to answer: is who is actually the audience? Because like you say, you cannot write both for CEO and CTO.
Yeah.
It's just not practical. And actually, we made a choice explicitly to focus to keep the book fairly technical,
Hmm.
uh, keep the jargon, keep the technical terminology, which basically excludes some of the people that would lose their way in the book,
Hmm.
explicitly focus on the technical side, which actually means that we will likely need to write another book, which will be totally non-technical. We're actually starting to work on that one too. But it's very important to define the audience. And we had this choice, and the choice we made was based on our business needs rather than our capability on writing
Yeah.
a specific story.
Yeah. And this is really a key point that you've raised there. And that's kind of one of the ingredients of a really high performing business book is that it really focuses on what are the commercial goals of this book? What are the outcomes that the whole thing is designed to lead us towards?
Yeah.
And then you have to match that up with who is my audience and what are their expectations and how am I going to help move them from where they are at point A today, which is unclear about something, to point B, which is clarity and ability to take the next step. So, there's a bit of juggling there, but never is the first priority to do what comes naturally to the author or to do what the author prefers. And so herein lies the creative struggle. It's
I,
not
I
easy.
I definitely want to tell the story I want to tell,
Yeah.
right? And it makes it easier, it makes it more natural, but that's not the point at all,
Yeah.
right? And this is the same. We as technologists, we go to customers and we need to do the work
Hmm.
for them, and it's not what we want to do; it's what they need to get. It's like you have an artist going and painting houses. It's not going to do, like murals and it's just painting the walls. So often we need to do the work that is not the most advanced, but this is what the customers want. So the story is supposed to be about the challenges that people are facing and how they supposed to actually deal with those challenges. And also, um, I really don't want us to be the hero of the book. It's not about us. It's about the people who recognize themselves and they recognize their struggles and the potential solutions for their struggles. And we just want to be on the side, guiding them through the journey and helping them to achieve their best.
Yeah, which is fantastic. You really understood that so well from the very start of this project, and I know it'll come through clearly in your next one as well. With that said, let's talk a little bit more about the business side of the book then. Can you just give us an overview of the business and where it was pre-book?
So we are a consulting business. And we started from one direction, which is sustainability in IT, but about a year ago, we moved entirely into AI. So
Mhm.
in consulting, meaning that we're going to customers and helping them implementing AI solutions. Now, to be a consultant or consulting company, you need to have the expertise and knowledge and capability to deliver actual work, but you also need the credibility and reach in the market. So before Resync, I was co-founder in another consulting company called Container Solutions, which went through exactly the same journey. We started in 2014 as engineers, and then we developed our sort of understanding of the market, and eventually wrote that other book with O'Reilly. And uh, and that book put us in the position of very, very strong credibility and trust by customers. And
Mhm.
then we build an entire marketing system around the content of the book and the messaging. So here we wanted to create something similar. So we want to be known. We're a fairly small company, about 15 people now, but we want to be known way above that, right? So we want to influence much bigger companies. We want to reach larger enterprises, and the book is one of the key elements to do that. We also, as part of the book, we are using design patterns. So we also do other artifacts like pattern cards and workshops, and we rebuild the entire website. And there's so many activities around that where the book becomes a heart of our marketing story.
Yeah, I love the creative application, and I think sometimes maybe this is just me, I don't know, but I used to hold a kind of like a subconscious like assumption that tech and creativity weren't necessarily like kind of one and the same, but the creative capabilities within a technical team are immense, and I love how you've brought that through into how you use content and how you engage people.
It's actually when you are inside a good tech team, actually, there is a very clear understanding that our work is very creative.
Mm.
Like writing code, creating IT systems, there is a lot of creativity, there is a lot of uncertainty. So creativity, actually, most of the software engineers are above average in creativity, I would say. It doesn't come across because we are typically perceived as this sort of mathematically oriented cakes and stuff. I think mostly because most people in software are fairly introverts, but the creativity is actually very, very strong in the field of tech.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. Fantastic. I love the cards as well. I think it's a very nice touch. Okay. And so where's the business going now? Because clearly the book, as well as the other types of content you're working on and these projects that you're doing, they're playing an important role in the evolution of the business. And so where are you, what can you tell us about your direction of travel?
I think so. This book is particularly focusing on technical side of our direction, so CTOs and technical managers, and this helps us really to reach those people which actually need to go through the AI native transformation. And we clearly explaining them the journey. So once they read the book and they join the workshop or they buy the cards, then they connect to that story and they want to experience the same journey. So that helps us to connect to them, and hopefully they become our customers, and then we win a lot of new customers over time. Our goal is really to create a marketing and sales funnel around the book and all the artifacts. So we systematically talk to people and they already come to us after they read the book, meaning that they are ready for the conversation. They understand the background of our work, which means the conversation is not cold, is not random out of nowhere. It's based on already joint understanding and on the fact that they like the book typically. Otherwise, they wouldn't talk to us. So
Yeah.
in this sense, it's very early. It's only 2.5 weeks since the book was released, but we already done one workshop with the cards and already spoke to multiple people following that. We're already scheduling additional workshops. We are doing a lot of promotions, creating webinars and all kind of different things. So it is early in the marketing and sales process, but we expect to get a lot of new customers. And for us, we only need about 10 customers a year. So uh, the fact that the book is on Amazon and selling in for us pretty significant numbers. It's it clearly goes into the direction that we are going to get those leads.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's right. Then that's a very real and very exciting part of this book because you've seen some really really great early traction. You've just
Yeah.
mentioned it there. I have to celebrate also your absolute rocket launch into bestseller status, which you achieved, I think, within a few hours. Is that right? Or at least in the first day of launching the book, it
I
went.
think first day or two we got to. I mean, there were quite a lot of early sales. There was no pre-sales almost. There were actually no. There were 6 books sold in pre-sale.
Yeah,
Uh, but in the first 2 days we sold up close to maybe 60, 70 books, and that put us in more or less every category we participated in every store and every like digital or physical copies, either on first place or second or third. So even much bigger categories of computer literature in general, we were somewhere around second or third place. And there were even books that we were above them in bestseller status that had 8,000 stars, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
at least for a short period of time.
yeah.
Um, but it was very impressive. The campaign that you helped us to build and whatever other activities we had really helped to get the maximum out of our own network. And yeah, so far we're in 2 weeks. We are actually the actual number of copies sold is 117 right now.
Yes, congratulations.
Um, and that's in addition to the books we gave away in meetups and conferences and the cards that we are in process of printing and sending to people. So all of that is very good traction, but it's only a beginning.
in the beginning. And I also just want to point out for everyone listening as well, I think a lot of people have heard this stat now, and it's the kind of the stat that's like an accepted truth in publishing, which is that typically a non-fiction book would only sell 250 copies over its lifetime when it's not supported with the right type of
Yeah,
activities, or maybe it's not written for the right audience, for example, and it can't get the traction. To have 117 in the first fortnight is absolutely exceptional. It's an incredibly promising early signal for where this book's going to go through the rest of its life cycle. But what really moves the needle is, of course, what happens as a result of that traction, and it's the business activity, isn't it, that
yeah.
comes as a result, which is really kind of why that sort of thing is important. And so you've mentioned a little bit about this already. I know the book's been reviewed very highly as well. I've seen your LinkedIn posts and comments. Any post about the book, it attracts hundreds of comments, all extremely positive. So it's very well endorsed and recognised in your
Yeah.
niche. With a lot of positive engagement. What do you feel it's done for the brand then, in terms of brand visibility and helping people to differentiate you from, say, another provider they might be looking at?
It's it. There's a massive difference, and this is again not the first time I wrote a book. So I'm aware of this kind of dynamics. Is that, but because we are actively engaging with people and we are asking questions and for feedback, so actually getting this feedback from people that yeah, you are the thought leader. You're like, I'm following you for a few years now, and I'm really happy to see your next book coming. And I saw you started a new company, and I'm now interested to see where that thing is going. So
Amazing.
the first thing, I mean, so far, we mostly engage with existing network, all
Mm,
our networks.
mm,
So I think we are very successful in using the marketing tools to actually get maximum out of that. But what it does is that it sort of creates this re-engagement feeling that we are doing now this type of work, AI native transformation, and a lot of people are now network are now aware of that. And it means that when they need to engage with somebody around that work or ask a question, they will definitely come to us. But it also creates really massive amount of credibility. People, there's sort of this feeling like somebody who wrote a book definitely knows what they're talking about.
yeah, yeah. It's absolutely the case. Because would you mind just holding up your book? You've got an early author copy right there,
Yeah.
haven't you? And if you turn it so we can see the spine
Yes.
and the sides, the spine on the side as well. There we go. And so you can see here the length of this book as well. This is a lot of knowledge that you've shared.
It is, and it was actually very difficult to keep it shorter.
Yeah.
Actually, the idea in the beginning when we started talking about it, I was thinking 200 pages would be a good size, and it was really hard to keep it under 400.
Yes, it is.
Um, but also the same with the cards, right? So the those design patterns or anti-patterns, right? So this is the work or knowledge or experience that we collected over the years, and we have the deck of cards, 120 cards, but there are even more in the book. So this is very valuable because this is almost like compilation of our knowledge on this topic
Yeah.
in the decades of work that of in the decades that we're doing this work. So this is very valuable because people can take it and within hours they can pick up our knowledge and reuse it in other places.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that the extraction of the kind of like the really sort of key moments and key light bulb moments, because people have different learning styles. People are busy. They're going to pick up that book because just the sheer weight of it. I mean, you can see how much knowledge is in there. And of course, there's no pressure on somebody to read from start to finish, even though, of course, there's maximum value if they do. They could have a look at the table of contents and go to the exact point. It was designed this way, go to the point where, it's going to, the points are going to resonate with where they are the most. Although there is a continuity, there is an overall journey that you've put together in that book. But for those quick learn, quick start moments where you've got the cards, and you're running workshops off the back of it. You're linking your book to your products and services, and you're using it to create and expand your content ecosystem, which is going to bring more people in as well as nurture the people you're already working with. So it's really smart.
And it really is. I think it's really important to do the book in professional way. It's clear to people that this is not a marketing piece, right? It's actually a piece of content that really invested the time and effort to create, and it actually reads like a professional book. And although we intentionally published it ourselves, so with your help, I think the main reason for that is that we can actually use it for marketing purposes. But the quality of the book, the editing, and the everything related to the publishing, we didn't want to compromise on that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you did the right thing because the book is the core piece of content, and everything else can come as a result of that. So it really needs to be working at a high level.
And we, again, I did it. I did have an experience working with O'Reilly. They're a great publishing house. It means that we reached a lot of people, and you get the credibility of their logo that they don't work with every author, but you don't own the IP, right? So you cannot use the book, and you need to pay them tens of thousands of euros for the privilege of send your own story to your own customers, right?
Yeah.
And in terms of actually technical help of actually editing and doing all the technical side of book publishing, they're not great. And this is all before AI, right? So they were not really helpful. Most of the work was on us anyway.
Yeah, I think that's the it's a really interesting kind of equation with tradition with publishing. I say traditional, I stop myself because also there's hybrid within that,
Mm.
and self-publishing in that, on the traditional publisher side, yes, they pay production costs and they focus on distribution, and on the self-publishing side, you pay your own production costs, but the marketing is still always the responsibility of the author. And so when you have that creative freedom and you have that creative control, you're able to work in a very intuitive way and stay very closely connected with your audience, rather than kind of, having to kind of, what's the word, tune into a different drum beat, to make things happen in a certain way.
I think there is clearly value to work with a good publisher, right? Because mostly because of the reach and their understanding of the market. Because
Mm.
if it's on you, then it's on you. The story, you need to define the story. You don't have much of editorial review in a sense of direction of the book,
Mhm.
um, and you don't have much help in marketing. But
Yeah.
it's actually still significantly cheaper
Mhm.
if you want to use the book for the marketing because you don't need to pay them for the licensing.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's very different experience. And I think especially for me, I already have the logo of O'Reilly in my profile, right? So I don't really need the credibility of being O'Reilly author. But this is a key marketing piece, and I want to be able to use it whenever I like, in whatever way I like. And that's very, very powerful. But I am also aware that um, we are unlikely to reach the number of copies sold
Mhm.
on this book. Um, I don't really mind about the royalties because I don't expect
Mhm.
to make profit out of this book anyway. But the royalties are significantly higher than when you do it
Then when
yourself.
you're That's also true. That's also true. And I do think that the control and the freedom is really key to this being a very like brand aligned piece of work. Um, in terms of the kind of early business wins, we've talked about the accolades, the recognition, the reviews, the increased social media engagement, the brand visibility, thought leadership, all of
Yeah.
these things you've not just noticed, but you can measure. We've talked about it's a massive credibility piece and how it's feeding your content ecosystem as well as existing client nurture, new client engagement. These are powerful business results from the first 2, 3 weeks. Is there anything that you can tell us, and it might be a little soon, is there anything you can tell us about new business, for example, conversations you're having with new clients, potential new clients, where you can see that the book being a kind of direct lead into a new business relationship?
So first, even before the actual customers, we actually started promoting the book before it was ready. So we took a couple of chapters and packaged it as a mini book, sort of promotional piece in 30 pages or so, and that brought us about 700 downloads, which also helped to sell more copies, but also reach more people. And then we're using it to create content on LinkedIn. And so we do have a lot of traction. Now, our sales cycle is anywhere between 3 months to 24 months. So we don't expect to get new customers 2.5 weeks after the book is published. But it did help to re-engage with everyone we know in our community. It's a great way to reach out to a person you didn't speak to for 3 years and then remind them that you exist and explain them what you're doing. Um, there are two amazing case studies in the book from two different companies that we work with. One of actually they were not our customers, but they used the same principles. So it's a great way to engage with them. And we created very nice case studies and PDFs and gave them, so they are going to promote them too. There's a lot of activities that will definitely eventually lead to conversations, because we know that once we do have conversations with people that are based on the content and the ideas that we publish, then eventually we will get customers.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. And yours are not cheap services, as in you work at a high level.
Yeah.
You look to work with people who are willing and able to invest in what they want built at a high level. And so this presents, would you say, a significant opportunity for a return on what you invested in having the book done in the first place?
This is very simple answer. If we get one customer, it was worth all the trouble, right? So if from the entire engagement, one customer is more than enough, and we are obviously going to get more than that,
Yeah,
because we tend to build larger IT systems. So many of our projects are in hundreds of thousands or millions of euros. So every customer is often months or even years of work. So if this all content, again, if it brings us even one major customer, it's totally justified.
yeah, amazing. Well, honestly, just a huge congratulations again. My copy is in the post, and I'm really looking forward to receiving it. I really recommend that for people interested in this type of content to pick up Pinny's book, because knowing Pinny and his business partner, and the kind of the way that they do business, the way that they approach people in their business, it stands out, and they're different, and they really, really, really understand at a very deep level what they do and what they need to do. Um, Penny, is there anything else that you would really like to say to others, either about your work and this book, also others that might be considering putting together their own type of thought leader content?
I really think that I don't, I wouldn't specifically tell people to choose publisher or not, but I think people who do want to publish the book themselves and have full control over them, if you never did all the technical work yourself, then it's actually worth working with somebody who understands how books are published. So in this sense, it was a great engagement for us that for me, it was good to know that the editing and all the mechanics of book publishing was taken care of in a professional way. And it really allowed us to focus on writing the book.
Yeah.
And also, I think, although we also used a lot of AI ourselves, we're everything we do is now AI related somehow. But actually having professional human editor was essential, and without that, the book wouldn't be what it is. So, in this sense, whoever is writing a book on their own, I would still strongly recommend to use a professional company like Writing Business Results to actually do it correctly, because then the book becomes much better.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And the last question from me, other than where people can find you, we'll make sure that that's in here. Last question from me is, how would you sum up your author journey in 3 words?
3 words.
You're on the spot with that one. That's a tricky
Yeah.
question.
This is actually one of the hardest things is to say meaningful thing in few words, which is the whole point of a book is to reduce the content, not increase. Increasing is easy. Um,
So
I,
we
I
can do
think,
10 words and then we can edit it
yeah,
down.
yeah. We can put it in ChatGPT and it will work on it.
Yeah.
Um, I really think it's writing a book is a challenge to really explain, or actually really learn about the topic. When I started the book, I don't think I knew enough, and by the end of it, I know a lot more. So for me, I guess the 3 word is 2 words is learning experience.
Amazing. That's very interesting, isn't it? Because it validates what you know, but it also forces
Yeah.
you to acquire new knowledge in order to unpack.
I think the main challenge in the book is that, which is different from social media or blog or anything else, or when you talk to people, that it's words on paper forever,
Mm.
right? So it has to be correct.
Hmm.
And once it's published, that's it. Now, of course, it's not that absolute, but it's as close as it gets to stays on paper forever.
Yeah.
So it has to be correct. And me being caring a lot about not saying something stupid, it is really a long journey of making sure that every word is saying something and it's correct.
Yeah.
So it is more of a learning experience for me than teaching,
Well,
but hopefully other people can get the knowledge and experience from that, so it helps them somehow.
amazing. That's actually pretty insightful and a really wonderful takeaway. And so thank you very much for sharing and throughout the whole conversation being so forthcoming and transparent and giving us all a little insight into your world. Where can everybody find you if they want to progress more?
Um, Actually, I'm very easy to find. Like you just can Google, and then you will find me on LinkedIn, on the website, on Amazon page, wherever. I'm doing quite a lot of talks and other things, so I'm not difficult to find if you can spell my name.
Which luckily you've got on the screen right here. So.
Yeah. Also, my name is fairly unique, so you won't find too many people. So that's an extra benefit. My co-founder and co-author, Michael Mueller, don't look for him because you will have to find him directly, but I'm easy to find.
Perfect. Pini, thank you so much indeed for spending time with me today. Thank you for sharing your book, and we will speak very soon.
Thank you for the invite and my pleasure.